Hello, baseball fans. Anthony with Bleacher Bums Gaming, and coming to you from the friendly and somewhat dilapidated confines of Southside Park here in Chicago. And we are back for Game 2 of the White Sox second series of the 1908 season with, again, the St. Louis Browns in town for the second of what will be a 4-game set. Yesterday, the White Sox defeated Rube Waddell 2-0, and today they are going to take on Bill Graham with Ed Walsh going to the hill for the good guys in what should be a game the White Sox are favored in. In this game, which took place in real life on 4/18 of 1908, the White Sox, despite only getting 2 hits, prevailed 3-0 as Walsh spun a 3-hitter and the Browns committed 3 errors, which assisted the White Sox cause immensely. So let's get to the action. And again, excited to see Big Ed, a 48-game winner in 1908, who started 49 games and appeared in relief in another 17 for a whopping 464 innings pitched. And that total, compared to modern pitchers, basically equates to the workload of 2.5 starters if you look at most major league teams today. So definitely an impressive feat, and we will see if he can get win number 1 for 1908. To do so, he must set down a fairly good Browns lineup, which includes Danny Hoffman in right, leading off, Charlie Jones in center, George Stone in left, Jimmy Williams at second, Hall of Fame shortstop Bobby Wallace, Hobie Ferris at third, Tom Jones at first, Tubby Spencer again behind the dish, and Bill Graham on the mound for the visiting Browns. And Graham went 6-7 in 1908 in 13 starts with a 2.30 ERA. So for the homestanding White Sox, no changes to the lineup you've seen in the first 3 games. Ed Hahn in right leads it off. Fielder Jones in center is next. Patsy Doherty, the left fielder, bats third. Freddie Perrant in the cleanup spot at short. Jake Atz at second. Jiggs Donahue at first base, Lee Tannehill at third, Billy Sullivan behind the plate, and the pitcher Ed Walsh bats ninth. So we are ready to go. Walsh is ready. Hoffman steps up to the plate and going straight to the power column. And that is going to be a total of 17, and that's a deep fly out to left field. Going back to put that away is Doherty, 1 down. As Walsh off to a good start. And you can see from his card a lot of 1s. 1 is the best for a pitcher. Charlie Jones, the batter, and again to the 6th column. This is going to be 17 in column 6, and another deep fly out to left field. So getting some exercise out there is Patsy Doherty, 2 down, as George Stone steps up. Walsh kicks, delivers, and again, column 6. And this is going to be a total of 32 in column 6, and pops him up. Circling into foul territory near third goes Lee Tannehill, pulls it in, and 3 up, 3 down go the Browns in the top of the first inning. So White Sox coming to the plate, Ed Hahn leading it off against Graham. And we're going to have a fielding result. And 6 will be second base, and at second base for the Browns, or Jimmy Williams, sorry, at second base is a 1, so a total of 5 in column 4. And infield is back, and that is going to be a ground out. So 2 pitch at bat for Hahn. That brings up fielder Jones. Not very good with a stick, but as his name would imply, fairly good in the field. And we're going to be in column 5. And that is going to be a total of 6 in column 5, and that's going to be a walk. So fielder Jones draws a base on balls, and again using the automated steal system. Bunts I am calling, and they are going to let Doherty, the number 3 hitter, hit away here. So column 1, and that is going to be a total of 8. And 8 in column 1 is going to be a pop out to shortstop. Drifting back into the outfield goes Bobby Wallace. F6 on the put out, and 2 down. Freddie Perrant, cleanup hitter up. And the White Sox shortstop. It's going to be a defensive result. And 3 is going to be the third baseman, and that is going to be Hobie Ferris, who is a 2. So a total of 3 in column 4, and that's going to be a ground out with the infield back. So 5-3, the Sox get a walk, but strand him, and no runs as we head to the top of the second inning. Set to lead it off for the Browns is Jimmy Williams, and going to column 3 this time. And that's going to be a total of 13, and 13 is a line drive at shortstop. Jumping up to spear that at the tip of his glove is Perrant. So hard struck ball, but Perrant in the right place. 1 down for Bobby Wallace. And going to column 5, and it's going to be a total of 5 in column 5. Ground ball down to third base. And bobbles out a little bit down there. Lee Tannehill whips it across and just nips him by a step. So 2 outs, and Walsh looking to get out of the second inning. Perfect through the first 6 batters. Another fielding result. And 1, and that's going to be first baseman. And Jiggs Donahue is a 2, so a total of 3 in column 4. And ground ball. Donahue picks it up and underhand to Walsh covering. So 3-1 on the putout, and another 3 up, 3 down inning for Big Ed Walsh as we head to the bottom of the frame. Jake Atz, second baseman, leading it off for the Sox, and he's going to get a fielding result as well. So at third base, it's going to be a total of 13 in column 5, or 13 in column 4, excuse me, and a possible error. So down at third base, Hobie Ferris is rated a 35, so above that. And 35 right on the button. He bobbles it but makes a play. And nice recovery down there by Ferris. 1 down as Jiggs Donahue steps up. And Donahue with a chance in the power column. That's going to be a 17. And deep fly out to left field. Going back for that is George Stone. A nice over-the-shoulder catch. 1 down, or 2 down now. So Graham matching Walt, 0 for 0, and we go to column 2. And that's going to be a total of 6 in column 2, and struck him out. So Graham gets the first strikeout of the game. 3 up, 3 down go the Sox. We are through 2 and no score in this one as we head to the third. Bottom half of the Browns order, Tom Jones hit .246 with 1 home run in 1908. And going to be in column 2. And a total of 51 in column 2. And 51 is going to give us a ground ball back to the pitcher. Walsh, a nifty stab, whips that over to first. 1 away. So Walsh set down the first 70 faces as Tubby Raymond steps in. Or Tubby Spencer Raymond. Going to be a total of 46 in column 1 and 46, and that's going to be a strikeout. So, well, strikeout or comebacker. Playing halfway, all right, not going to be applicable. So first strikeout for Walsh, and again, not 100% memorized with these charts. So occasionally I'll have to still peek and read. Pitcher up now, and Graham going into column 1, and that is going to be a 10, 11 with Walsh's addition, and that's going to be a single back up the middle. So the pitcher, of all people, comes through and gets the game's first hit. And Walsh spits disgustingly off the side of the mound, and again described by sports writer Ring Lardner as the only man who could strut standing still. The confident and sometimes arrogant Walsh prepares to face Hoffman. And we're going to be in column 3. And it's going to be a ballpark result, so it's going to be a total. All right, total of 2 in column 3, and that's a tapper back to the pitcher, and Walsh gets his second put out of the inning. So the Brownies go down with no score. They do get the game's first hit. We're heading to the bottom of the third inning, and it is still 0-0 as Billy Sullivan digs in for the Sox. And Sullivan, and that is going to be a total of 6 in column 1, and that's a strikeout. So second strikeout in a row for Graham as the high heat goes by Sullivan. Big Ed Walsh steps up. And going to be a defensive result. So this will be on the shortstop. And for the Browns, Bobby Wallace is a 2. So a total of 7 and called 4. And it's going to be a ground ball put out. 2 away as Walsh cannot return the favor and get a hit off his counterpart. Top of the order brings up Ed Hahn. And again, another defensive result. 3 will be the third baseman. And Hobie Ferris makes it a total of 3 in column 4. Makes a play easily. So thus far, errors have not been a factor in this replay. Well, we've had one in pretty much every game, but I've not had an abundance as could happen in the dead ball error. Again, season is still young. We head to the top of the 4th. And Walsh set to face Charlie Jones. Going to column 1, and that's going to be a strikeout as Big Ed Walsh, the spitball, gets by him. And baffles Jones. That's his second strikeout of the day as George Stone steps up. And again to column 1. And that is going to be a total of 6. And ring him up again, Johnny. Big Ed Walsh strikes out 2 in a row now. And he's feeling comfortable. Still only 1 hit given up by both pitchers combined thus far. As we go to a defensive check, and 4. It's going to be on the shortstop. So at shortstop, we have a rating of 3 with Freddie Perrant. So a total of 19 in column 4. And 19 is going to be a ground ball, and Perrant takes care of it. 6-3 on the putout. So another 3 up, 3 down inning for Walsh, heading to the bottom of the 4th inning. Still looking for our first score in this one. Chicago center fielder Jones steps up and going to column 5. And column 5 going to be a total of 6, and that will be a walk. So second base on balls. Second time Jones has walked. And this time we are going to play a little small ball. So Doherty going to be bunting here, and again infield is back since there is not a runner on third. So total there, it's going to go to the first baseman, and 7 is going to be a sacrifice fly, 3-4 on the, or sacrifice bunt, 3-4 on the putout. Moving down to second base is Jones, so our first runner in scoring position as Freddie Perrant steps up, cleanup hitter. And going to column 5, and that is going to be a 1K. So K on the batter's card has to do with stolen bases, not strikeouts actually. So if he reaches, and in column 5, a nut roll of 4 for the pitcher. And that's going to make it a 3. So 3 in column 5 is going to be a ground ball down to second base. And infield is halfway. Runner out at second. Actually, runner will go to third. My apologies. 4-3 on the putout. So 2 outs, and the game's first run is 90 feet away. Chicago still looking for their first hit, however, as Jake Atz steps up. And going to column 1, and this is going to be a total of 34. 34 in column 1, and that is going to be a walk. So runners at the corners, 3 walks surrendered now by Graham. And Jiggs Donahue going to give us our first run of the game. This will be a defensive check, and it'll be on the second baseman. So again, for the Brownies, Jimmy Williams is a 1. So we have a total of 6 in column 4, and 6 in column 4 is going to be a harmless ground out. So the Sox get a couple of runners on, get the potential first run of the game 90 feet away, but can't capitalize. We're heading to the 5th, still looking for our first score of the game. And into the power column for Bobby Wallace, and going to be a total of 19 in column 6, and drives out of right field, going back into the corner, and making the catch is going to be Ed Hahn. So he gave that a ride, but Hahn runs it down, 1 away. Third baseman Hobie Ferris up now for the Brownies. And that's going to be a total, and Ferris a right-hander, so a total of 15 in column 3. And 15, line drive back up the middle, ranging to his right, and stabbing at his Atz. So a hard hit ball. Jake Atz makes the play, 2 away for Tom Jones. And going to be a total of 32 in column 6, and pops him up, and coming in front of the third base bag to make the play is Lee Tannehill. So again, 3 up, 3 down. And we have a good old-fashioned dead ball pitchers duel here going through 4.5. 0-0, and Lee Tannehill starts it off for the White Sox. And we're going to column 2. And that is going to be a total of 58 in column 2. And do the Sox have their first hit of the day? A looping drive to the outfield. So that's going to go to the center fielder. And if his number is higher than the Rays number beside the 55, it's going to make the play. And out in center field with a 3 and making a nice running catch is Charlie Jones. So he stabs that off his shoe tops and takes away the first hit. No hitter still intact for Bill Graham and the Brownies. Billy Sullivan steps up now. And again, another defensive check. This is going to be on the shortstop. So total of 6 in column 4 and a ground out there. So 2 away, Big Ed Walsh, he would very much love to break up this no-hitter. And column 2, and a roll of 5 there is 16 plus 3, so 19 in column 2. And 19 in column 2 is going to be a harmless fly ball to shallow center field. Coming in to take that is Jones, and 3 up, 3 down go the Sox. Pitcher's fatigue, by the way, Walsh, he's got a 33 plus 9, meaning that he's going to go deep into this game. He can go to Hobie Ferris's 4th at bat, and Bill Graham only has a 27, meaning he'll get through the lineup exactly 3 times. However, if he is pitching a shutout, he will stay fresh until he either gives up a run or reaches an additional 7 batters. So Tubby Spencer set to start off the 6th for the Browns. And that is going to be a total of 28 in column 5, and 28 in column 5 is going to be a fly out to right field. So a dying quail out there, and taking care of that is Ed Hahn, 1 down, pitcher spot coming up. And he has our only hit, Bill Graham, of the game thus far. And we're going to have a fielding result here. It's going to be a 1, and 5 is Chicago shortstop, and Perrant is a 3, so a 4 in column 4, and that is going to be an easy ground out. So candy hop there, and plenty of chances for errors, but fielders on both teams making some good plays is back to the top of the order. And I'm going to get a total of 30 in column 5, and that is going to be a fly out to center field. So coming in to take care of that is fielder Jones. And another 3 up, 3 down inning for Ed Walsh. In fact, every inning but one, the 3rd, has been 3 up, 3 down for the big man as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Walsh with a 1-hitter, but his opponent, Bill Graham, has yet to give up a hit despite 3 walks, and leading it off will be Ed Hahn. So column 3, and that is going to be a 49 total. 49, line drive toward right field, and against a left-handed pitcher. Leaping catch by the second baseman. What a play. And wow, taking away a sure base hit. That could come in later is Jimmy Williams. And the crowd, despite being partisan Sox, roars their approval of that play. He snow-coned that. That looked like a sure base hit heading into the outfield. But no. As fielder Jones steps in, and column 2 is going to be a total of 19, and are we going to have a hit? No, and that's a shallow fly ball to center field, and a nice running catch out there by Jones. So 2 outs, and the no-hit drama is alive. Column 2 to Patsy Doherty. And that is going to be a total of 42 in column 2, and ground ball shortstop to pitcher. And that's the injury column, which we do not use because this is a replay. So 3 up, 3 down go the Sox. We are through 6, and both teams struggling mightily to get any offense going at all as Ed Walsh comes out for the 7th inning in a game that's just flying along. And this will be a fielding result, second baseman. And a defensive rating of 3 for Jake Atz. So 9 in column 4, and that is going to be a ground out. So it looks like we might make it through this game without an error. 5 errors were committed in the actual game in real life back in 1908. As we are in column 5, and George Stone, it's going to be a total of 23. And 23 in column 5, and that is going to be Ed Walsh, first walk of the game. And going to go to the action chart, column M, which means a possible wild pitch. The blue die will have to be higher than his wild pitch rating, which is a 4. So here we go, a total of 6 in column M, and that is going to be a WPBO. So if pitcher's wild pitch rating is 0, score a wild pitch. If catcher's pass ball rating is 0, score a pass ball. If both apply, score a wild pitch, and neither applies, so the runner's going to stay at first. And we'll bring up Jimmy Williams, second baseman for the Browns. And again, another defensive check. And Perrant is a 3, so a total of 19 in column 4, and that is going to be a grounder out at first. Runners advance 1 base. So Perrant ranges into the hole, doesn't have time to get the force at second. 2 outs for Bobby Wallace. And column 2, and we're going to have a total of 18 in column 2, and 18. It's a fly ball into center field, and that looks like it might get down, but no, coming in to make the catch is fielder Jones, and that saved a run for sure. So again, no hits, no runs, no errors, 1 left. We head to the bottom of the 7th inning, 7th inning stretch time. And here's a fun fact, not 1908 related, but White Sox related. One of the big myths of the 1919 Black Sox scandal is that Charlie Comiskey was cheap, and we'll get into the story of the Cicotte or Eddie Cicotte bonus in a different fun fact. But the fact of the matter is, by the time the season had ended and all roster moves had taken place, the White Sox were actually one of the highest paid teams in the majors in 1908. And even starting the season, they were number 3 in the American League. So that is another one of the myths that was put forth by Elliot Asanoff in his book, 8 Men Out, that just did not hold water, and there are actually quite a few of them. The book at times is almost a work of fiction versus actual facts, but that is your 7th inning fun fact, somewhat refuting the cheapness of Charlie Comiskey, who also owned the Sox at this time. So, starting the bottom of the 7th inning is Perrant, and we are going to get a total of 6, and Graham strikes Perrant out. So Graham has walked 3, and that is his 3rd strikeout now as Jake Atz comes up. Into the power column, and Atz, 37 is going to be the total there. Do we have a hit? Struck him out. So strikeout number 4. Graham, he's feeling it bearing down. The pressure of the no-hitter continues to mount. And just a side note, I have never... I think I've rolled 1 no-hitter ever in tabletop games, and that was back with Status Pro in the 80s. So this would be a feat, and I'm probably going to jinx it talking about it, so I'm going to shut up. As Jiggs Donahue has a 13 in column 3, and he's a left-hander, so that's going to make it a 17. And there you go. He drives that into the gap. That's going to bounce to the wall, and the no-hitter is over. So I jinxed it as the Sox get their first hit of the game. Donahue at second. Lee Tannehill comes up. Great job. And it's going to be a total, this will be actually a ballpark. Or we'll go to the ballpark column 2. So 55, and it's going to be a 3. So 58, and we'll roll the dice to get a new raised number, and it's going to remain a 1. So 58 raised number is a 1 in column, in column 2. 58 looping drive to the outfield, that's going to center field, and if the defense's rating is higher than the raised number, he makes a fine running catch, which will be the case here. And runner on second, third, which is second, third can advance if speed more than the outfielder's arm. So center fielder for the Browns, Charlie Jones, has an arm of 3, and Jiggs Donahue has a speed of 3. Well, it's a moot point anyway. It's 3 outs. So the Sox get their first hit of the game, but still cannot find the plate. We are through 7, both pitchers working on one-hit masterpieces as we head to the 8th inning. Hobie Ferris to lead it off against Walsh. And we're going to have a total of 18 in column 1, and that is going to be infield single plus a possible error. And this will be into the hole at shortstop. So we're going to roll against the error rating. So shortstop Freddie Perrant, and his error rating is pretty terrible. That's going to be an error, and a 2-base error at that. So E6, or I'm sorry, infield single, and then E6 means we have nobody out, and Hobie Ferris is poised at third to give us the game's first run, and Walsh is upset. First error of the game, and it could be a costly one as Tom Jones steps in. Walt's going to have to rear back and do some work, and he does. Swing and a miss. Jones goes down swinging. So Walsh, no nonsense here. He's going to get out of this himself, and we're going to have a total of 5 in column 3, and that's a short fly out to left field. With less than 2 outs, any runner on third base may try and tag up to score. So we're going to check the adding 1 to the outfielder's arm. Well, first of all, do we want to do this? That will be a 4. And third base coach, we're going to be in normal mode here. So speed minus arm at third base, and it's going to be a -1. Not a very probable. We're going to go for it. Heck, why not? So -1, here we go. Red and white, and that is going to be a 4 -1, and he's going to come home to score under the tag. We have our first run of the game, unearned run on Ed Walsh, and the Browns take a 1-0 lead on the sacrifice fly by Tubby Spencer, and that's going to bring up the pitcher spot. Base is empty now. Bill Graham, 2 outs, and with him working on this masterpiece, he is going to stay in the game. Wow, what a turn of events. A very, very costly error as we go to column 5. And that is going to be a total of 7 in column 5, and ground out to second baseman. So 4-3 goes a put out there. Inning is over, but the Browns, 1 hit, 1 run, a very costly throwing error by shortstop Freddie Perrant has given, and that will be an unearned run because he would not have been at third base to score. So the Brownies take a 1-0 lead as we head to the bottom of the 8th, and Billy Sullivan, the batter. Pitcher spot is due up second, so it's going to depend on what Sullivan does, if Walt stays in the game or not. And it's going to be a total of 5, and Graham, stronger as the game goes. That is another strikeout. That's number 5 for him on the day. Brings up Ed Walsh, and Walsh is going to stay in the game to hit. Going to finish what he started. So defensive check in column 4. That's going to be on the shortstop. And a total of 7, and makes the play out there. So Walsh, 6-3 on the putout, back to the top of the order. You know, this has been an exciting, nail-biting game, column 5. and going to be a total of 14. And hit by a pitch, so Graham, that gets away from him and he drills on. So a glimmer of hope, 2 down, runner on first base. Fielder Jones the batter. We've had no stolen base attempts, and again using the automated system. And we are going to have a total of 7 in column 5, and that's going to be a base on balls. So Graham losing it a little bit now, and coming out to talk to him is catcher Tubby Spencer. Patsy Doherty, the batter, he hit .278, no home runs. And going again to column 5, and this is going to be a total of 34, and 34 in column 5, and struck him out, a big strikeout as Graham, strikeout number 6. And the Sox, once again, threaten but can't do anything with the runners. So we're heading to the last frame. Still 1-0 the Browns, and this has been dead ball all the way. 3 of these first, well, 2 of the first 3 games were shutouts, both in the White Sox favor, and this is potentially 3rd shutout going in the Browns' favor. So here we go. Column 5, as top of the order, Danny Hoffman steps up. And that is going to be a total of 28, and 28 is going to be a fly out to right field, 1 away. So a total of 3 hits in this game. In the real life game in 1908, there was only a total of 5. Charlie Jones, the batter, going to the power column, and going to be a total of 17. And he drives that deep into left field, but there's going to be plenty of room out there. Again, Southside grounds is cavernous as Patsy Doherty makes a play, 2 down, and Walsh wants to get into the bottom of the inning, give his team 1 more chance, and it's going to be a total of 5 in column 5, and that's going to be a grounder down to third base. So 5-3 on the putout as Lee Tannehill. And that is the 6th 3-up, 3-down inning in this game for Walsh. Been just a victim of bad luck in this one as we head to the bottom of the 9th. Graham with the shutout. So where he is at with his fatigue right now? He can face a total of 4 batters this inning, and on the 5th one he'll be on his B grade. So ideally, if he gets out of it 3-up, 3-down, or only gives up a single hit, he will be fresh to finish the game. Power numbers, though, and it's going to be a total of 27 in column 6. And Freddie Perron drives that back up the middle, a hard-struck ball, and the Sox have their 2nd hit of the game. And it is not over, folks, and Atz is up. You know what we're doing. It's small ball time, and infield is back. Going to be a total of 9 on the sacrifice bunt, and that is going to be successful. And 5, that's going to be to the third baseman. So 5-3, sacrifice hit, and runner in scoring position. Brings up Jiggs Donahue, the left-hander, lefty-lefty matchup. And going to column 5. And 2, that's going to be a total of 22 in column 5 and a walk. And then we're going to go to the M column as well. So basically, to avoid his B grades, Graham, first of all, we're going to go to the wild pitch column. And that is a total of 10 and possible pass ball. If blue die is higher than catcher's pass ball rating, all runners advance 1 base on the pass ball. Pass ball rating for Tubby Spencer is a 2, and blue die is a 2, so they stay put. But runners on first and second now, 1 out, and this is going to be the last batter that Graham can face fresh, so he needs a double play or something good here. It's going to be a defensive check. And going to the shortstop, we have a total of 7 in column 5, and runners advance 1 base. Runner on third holds, which is not going to be the case. So Second, third, 2 outs. It comes down to this. Billy Sullivan is a batter. We'll have a pinch hitter if he can somehow get on base. And Graham, do we pull him? He's going to be on his B grades. It's one batter. He's pitched a hell of a ball game. They're going to let him go for the shutout. Here we go. So B grades all around, and in the power column, and 3. It's going to be a total of 36, and that could be bad. 36, and that's a fly ball into right field. Coming in hard. Is he going to get to that? Danny Hoffman dives, slides. He makes a catch. Ball game over. Runners on second and third, 2 outs. Graham, fatigued, barely hanging on, but he pitches through it on guts alone, and the game is over. The Browns, a 1-0 victory over the homestanding Chicago White Sox in an exceptional pitchers duel. Both pitchers were on point today. So for the Brownies, 1 run on only 2 hits, no errors. And the White Sox, no runs on 2 hits, 1 error. So in real life, total of 5 hits in this ball game in 1908. And in our replay of this, we had a total of 4. Both games end in a shutout. The real game went to the Sox, and this one to the Browns, however, 1-0. And player of the game, got to give that to the visitor, Bill Graham. An exceptional effort by Graham, who is not a top-line starting pitcher. He goes a distance, gives up a mere 2 hits, and he also did have a few walks. He hit a batter and walked 5, so he was actually effectively wild in this one. Also was able to record 6 strikeouts. So again, there you go. Effectively wild is the buzzword, as Graham gives up 2 hits, walks 5, but no runs. Walsh, quite honestly, even better. He goes 9 innings, gives up only 2 hits, a single run. It was unearned. Again, that costly throwing error by Freddie Perrant put Hobie Ferris in scoring position with no outs after he had singled. And Walsh walks just a single batter. And he's going to record 4 strikeouts. So Walsh actually pitched a better game than Perrant, but as so often happens in this time period, defense let him down. So there you have it, an exciting one from Southside Park today. The Browns nipping the White Sox 1-0 in an exceptional pitchers duel. We will be back with Game 5, and as always, thank you for supporting the channel. Thanks for watching. Until next time, you know what it is. Keep rolling for the fences, and we'll see you. Take care, everyone.